So AJ Feds, what's up, AJ? AJ says in response to one of my other comment response videos about spending $200 per lead, he says paying $1,000 to get one $5,000 job is crazy. You're only generating $4,000 after advertisement. That means $20,000 a year to generate $100,000. Doing the math, if you remove the 20,000 from the 100, that's 80,000 gross after advertising costs. He says that is steep. I would have to charge $6,000 for a $5,000 job. To me, a lead is worth 25. Then he says, Chuck, I got 8 free leads in the past 7 days and 70% of them sucked. Google guaranteed, needs to go away. So let's just think about this for a minute. His first statement, paying $1,000 to get a $5,000 job, is crazy. Maybe it's crazy for him, but if you net $2,000 from a $5,000 job, then you just doubled your money. You put $1,000 in, you got $1,000 out. And then he says, I would have to charge $6,000 for a $5,000 job. Exactly. Like, if you are used to getting referrals and repeat business and you charge $5,000 and then you start advertising and you find that it costs you $1,000 to acquire a $5,000 job, then you price in your advertising costs. So exactly, a $5,000 job becomes a $6,000 job. And I don't know if this is what AJ's thinking, but a lot of guys would be like, oh, well, I don't want to overcharge for a job. If it's only a $5,000 job, I don't want to charge $6,000. But that's just not reality. If it costs you money to get the job, you have to price it in, unless you want to make less money or go out of business. And just because you might not like these numbers doesn't mean you don't have competitors in your area that are happy to do this all day long. If you're in like the window industry, for example, you know that those big national companies out there that pay hundreds of thousands a year on marketing, they're happy to price in their marketing and charge their customers twice as much as you charge. You know, you can have your own opinions and beliefs about it, but it doesn't necessarily represent the actual market. So if you go out and you advertise and it costs you money, you price that in to your costs. That just becomes a cost of doing business, overhead, however you want to price it in. And I like crunching numbers, so let's just see. He says a lead to me is worth $25. I got 8 free leads and 70% of them sucked. So if I had 8 leads and 70% would be 5.6, so minus 8. So that's 2.4 good leads he got out of the 8. And if he's paying $25, that's $200 to acquire 2.4 jobs. So basically he's spending a little bit less than $100 to get a customer. So I don't know if he does $5,000 jobs, but if I could get $5,000 jobs for $100, I would buy all of them. And my competitors would say, well, hey, I'm willing to pay $200 to get a job. And so they would get them. But then I'd say, well, I'll pay $300. And then they'd pay $400. And then I would pay $500. And we would keep bidding it up until we found a point where nobody wants to spend more to get the job. And that's how much they'll cost. And that's how Google Ads works. That's how advertising works. That's why it's so expensive now, is because for the last 20 years, different companies have been bidding up the price, the cost of getting a customer, and now we're sitting at an equilibrium level in most populated areas where the amount that it costs is somewhere around the maximum that companies can price in and still make a profit. And that's just where it lies. So if you're coming into this advertising game now and you've never done this before, you're probably coming in with an attitude kind of like this of, oh my God, that's so expensive. I would never charge that much. I could never make this work. But the reason it costs this much is because other companies, your competitors, have already been making it work. So you can either come in and play the game, play it as it lies, or you can not play. It's up to you. But if you want to compete, you're going to have to compete with your dollars the same way that your competitors are. So if you agree with me, say so in the comments. If you don't, say so in the comments. Love to hear from you, and thanks for watching. If you're going through this and you want to get a little bit of professional help, go to my website. You can schedule a 15-minute call with me to pick my brain. I'll spend 15 minutes with you answering every question you have and doing my best to help you get a jump start on this. So chuckthecontractor.com, use the calendar, schedule a 15-minute call with me, and I'll talk to you soon.